Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Humbert here, and today we're going to be doing Unit 2 Learning Target 7 notes. So we're actually going to go through a brand new way of solving systems equations by doing elimination. So here are kind of the initial steps for solving systems by elimination. First thing you need to do is make sure that they're in standard form, which for this note sheet, they all will be. So that's a step we don't have to worry about today, but we will on our next note sheet. So you need to add the two variables together, and then one of your variables should cancel. If it doesn't, you did something wrong. Then you're going to solve for the remaining variable. Okay, once you have that variable, we're going to do exactly like we've done on the last two note sheets and substitute that variable back in for the other one. Okay, so let's just take a look at how that would work. Okay, so solving by elimination. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 1 here. So I notice immediately that I have same number opposite signs, and you're going to notice that's a theme with all elimination problems. You need same number opposite signs. So since that's true, I know when I add down the columns that my x's are going to cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and add down the columns then. So 2y minus y is just going to be y. And then 10 minus 6 is just going to give me 4. So now I know that y is equal to 4. So I need to substitute that 4 back in. And I can do it into either equation. It doesn't matter which equation I do that for. So I'm just going to do it for the top one. Okay, so then I have x plus 2. Now instead of writing the y, I'm going to put 4 in instead. So I'm going to have 2 times that 4, and that's equal to 10. So then I have x plus 8 is equal to 10. Subtract 8 from both sides, and I get 10 minus 8, which is 2. So then what I need to do is I have this coordinate point 2, 4. First my x, and then my y. So taking a look now at number 2. So I have a positive and a negative y. So again, same number, opposite signs. So I can go ahead and add down the columns. So when I do that, my y's are going to cancel. So then I have 2x minus 3x, which is a negative 1x. And that's going to be equal to 4 minus 8, which is going to give me a negative 4, not a negative 8. Okay, so now I notice that there's that negative 1x there. So I do need to actually get rid of that so I can completely solve for x. And I get that x is equal to 4. So now I know that x is equal to 4. So I can substitute that in for either equation. It doesn't matter which one. Now I'm going to choose the top one because the top one has a positive y, and that's going to make solving easier. Remember, it doesn't matter which one you choose. I just like to point out hints of what's going to make it easier. So we're going to have 2x, and then instead of the y, I'm going to put 4, and that's going to be equal to 4. So now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and I end up getting, oops, I plugged it in for y instead of x. Silly Miss Humbert. So I need to plug that in for x in this equation, not for y. So then I get 4 there plus y is equal to 4. Now I'm annoyed, but I'm also happy that I did that because students do that a lot. When they get the wrong answer, they actually just plugged it in for the wrong variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in for x because that's what x equals. So then I get 8 plus y is equal to 4. Okay, so then I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, and I get that y is equal to a negative 4. So now I need to write that out. First my x, then my y. So my answer here then is 4, negative 4. Next, let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 3. So for number 3, I notice that I have opposite signs on my x's, positive 2x and negative 2x, which means I'm ready to add down the columns. So 3y plus 2y is going to give me 5y. Negative 11 plus 6 is going to give me negative 5. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I end up getting that y is equal to a negative 1. So now I know that y is equal to a negative 1. So now that I know y is equal to a negative 1, I can plug it back into either equation. It doesn't matter. Just for fun, I'm going to pick the bottom one on this one. So then I have 2x plus, now I'm going to take the y out, maybe. I'm going to take the y out, and I'm going to put negative 1 in instead. It's disappearing. That's cool how it does that. I really quite like that. So then I have 2x plus 2 times a negative 1 is equal to 6. So then I get 2x minus 2 is equal to 6. So to solve for x, I need to add 2 to both sides. And when I do that, I get that 2x is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 2, and I get that x is equal to 4. Okay, so my y is negative 1 and my x is 4. So my answer is 4, negative 1 for number 3. Now, taking a look at number 4, again, same number, opposite signs on that y. So I can go ahead and add down the columns. X plus 7x is 8x. My y's will cancel, and then 9 plus 7 is 16. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 8, and I get that x is equal to 2. So now I know that x is equal to 2, so I can plug it into either equation for 2. Okay, so let's just do it to that bottom equation. So I have 7 times 2 plus y is equal to 7. So then I get 14 plus y is equal to 7. So now I need to subtract 14 from both sides. This is a positive 14, so to get it to the other side, I need to subtract it. So 7 minus 14 is negative 7. So then my x was 2 and my y is negative 7. So my answer is 2, negative 7. Let's go ahead here and let's take a look at number 5. So for number 5, I see that I have opposite values on my y's. So I can go ahead now and I can add down the columns because my y's will cancel. So 3x minus 2x is just going to give me x or 1x. You can write it either way. Negative 35 plus 30 is going to be negative 5. So now I know that x is equal to negative 5, and I can plug it into either version. So let's just plug it into the top. So I'm going to have 3 times negative 5 minus 5y is equal to negative 35. So then I get negative 15 minus 5y is equal to negative 35. So then I'm going to add 15 to both sides, and I get negative 5y is equal to a negative 20. So since that negative 5 is being multiplied by the y, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5, and I get that y is equal to 4. So then I get negative 5, 4 as my answer for number 5. Now taking a look at number 6, I see 4 and negative 4. So I can go ahead and add down the columns because I have same number, opposite signs. So 2y minus 3y is going to give me a negative 1y. 8 plus a negative 10 is going to give me a negative 2. So I need to know what y actually equals. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 1, and I get that y is equal to negative 2 divided by negative 1, which is 2. So y is equal to 2. So now I need to go back and substitute that into one of the original problems. So let's just do the bottom one. So I'm going to have 4x minus 3 times 2 is equal to negative 10. So 4x minus 6 is equal to a negative 10. So then since it's a minus 6, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And I get that 4x is equal to negative 10 plus 6, which is negative 4. Divide both sides by 4. Negative 4 divided by 4, I get negative 1. So x is equal to negative 1. So the negative 1, 2 is my final answer for number 6. Now, let's take a look at number 7. So for number 7, I notice that I have my opposites on the y's. So I can go ahead and add down, and it should cancel out so I can solve for my x's. So x minus 3x is a negative 2x, and that's going to be equal to 5 plus a negative 9, which is a negative 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2, and I get that x is equal to a positive 2 because those two negatives are going to become positive. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug that back in. So then I'm going to plug it into the top equation. So instead of writing my x, I'm going to write a 2, and then that's minus 2y is equal to 5. So then we're going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides, and I get a negative 2y is equal to a positive 3. So then I can go ahead and divide both sides by a negative 2, and here I'm going to get a y is equal to negative 1.5. Very rarely when you do this will you get a decimal, and whenever you do get a decimal, it's going to be a very simple decimal like 1/2 or 0.5. So if you do get an icky decimal, you probably did something wrong. So our answer then is 2, negative 1.5. So that's our final answer for number 7. Now, let's take a look at number 8. So we have 2x minus 2x, and that's going to cancel out. So negative 5y plus 7y is going to be a 2y. And then negative 6 plus 14, well, that's going to give me 8. So then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2, and I get that y is equal to a negative 4. Okay, so y is equal to a negative 4. Oops, it's a positive 2. My bad, so that should be a positive 4. Oh, goodness, Miss Humbert, you're having a day. So y is equal to 4. The 2 that comes down from negative 5 plus 7 should be positive, so that was that mistake that I made. So let's go ahead and let's plug that y in. Let's plug it into the top equation. So I get 2x minus 5. Now, instead of writing the y, I'm going to write 4 is equal to a negative 6. So then I get 2x minus 20 is equal to a negative 6. So then I'm going to add 20 to both sides. And I get that 2x is equal to 14. Divide both sides by 2, and I get that x is equal to 7. So that's my final point. First my x, then my y. So 7, 4 is my answer. And that concludes your note video for today. Thank you for listening.